For years, the world waited for a trial, for testimony, for revelations, for accountability. But that trial would never happen, because in August 2019, the life of Jeffrey Epstein came to an abrupt and controversial end, and with it, many answers disappeared forever. In the early hours of August 10, 2019, inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center, New York, guards found Epstein unresponsive in his cell. He had been awaiting trial, facing decades in prison, surrounded by investigators. Emergency teams were called, but it was too late. Epstein was pronounced dead. Within hours, news spread around the world. The official ruling: suicide by hanging. But almost immediately, questions began to surface. Investigations soon revealed serious failures inside the prison. Cameras malfunctioned, guards fell asleep, mandatory checks were missed. Epstein had previously been placed on suicide watch, then removed. Why? No clear explanation was given. To many, the situation seemed impossible to accept. How could one of the most high-profile prisoners in America die under such circumstances? Public trust began to collapse. Within days, a phrase went viral: Epstein didn't kill himself. It appeared on social media, on protest signs, in news debates, in political speeches. For millions, it symbolized distrust in powerful institutions. Whether conspiracy or skepticism, one thing was clear: the public no longer believed the official narrative without question. The case had become a symbol of broken justice. For nearly a year after Epstein's death, his closest associate remained free. Then, in July 2020, authorities arrested Ghislaine Maxwell. She was charged with recruiting minors, grooming victims, assisting abuse, lying under oath. In 2021, after a high-profile trial, Maxwell was convicted. In 2022, she was sentenced to 20 years in prison. For many survivors, this was the first real moment of accountability. But it was incomplete. The central figure was gone. After Epstein's death, pressure grew for transparency. Courts ordered the release of thousands of pages of sealed documents. Later, millions of files were reviewed and disclosed by authorities. The United States Department of Justice released records including court transcripts, flight logs, emails, witness statements, financial documents. These became known as the Epstein files. They revealed how victims were recruited, how money was moved, how connections were maintained. They also showed how often institutions failed. Some documents mentioned well-known figures: politicians, business leaders, academics, public personalities. In most cases, no criminal charges followed, but public debate exploded. Who knew? Who ignored warnings? Who benefited from silence? Trust in elites weakened. People began questioning how many other cases had been hidden by power and privilege. Epstein's case triggered reforms in multiple countries. New laws on victim notification, plea deal transparency, sex trafficking enforcement, prosecutorial accountability. Prosecutors involved in his early plea deal were investigated. Some resigned. Some faced professional consequences. The case became a textbook example of what happens when justice bends to influence. While headlines focused on power, the survivors focused on healing. Many filed civil lawsuits. Several received settlements. More importantly, they reclaimed their voices. They testified publicly. They wrote books. They spoke in universities. They helped others come forward. For years, they had been ignored. Now, they were shaping the narrative. Their courage became the most important legacy of all. Epstein's case changed how societies view abuse and power. It showed that wealth can hide crimes, that institutions can fail, that silence protects predators. It forced governments, media, and citizens to re-examine who they trust and why. Jeffrey Epstein rose through connections, he survived through privilege, and he fell without ever facing judgment. His death ended a trial, but it did not end accountability, because his story became a warning, a reminder that no system is safe without transparency, that no power is harmless without scrutiny, and that justice, when delayed, can be denied. But truth has a way of resurfacing. News told, because every shadow deserves light.